You are watching Access LaPorte County Channel 97. Coming up next is the October 16th meeting for the Michigan City Housing Authority Board of Commissioners. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
It's 302, calling the Michigan City Housing Authority meeting to order. We all stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ms. Dixon, could you take the roll, please?
Chairman Vinson.
Present.
Vice Chair Reyna. Present. Commissioner Benning. Commissioner Greer. Commissioner Rawls. Commissioner Fly. Please let the record show that Commissioner Benning and Commissioner Greer are not present.
We do have a quorum. Everyone have a chance to look at the minutes from last meeting? Any questions or changes? Can I get a motion to approve? A second?
Second.
Ms. Dixon on the roll.
Chairman Vinson.
Aye.
Vice Chair Reyna. Aye. Commissioner Rawls. Aye. Commissioner Fly.
Chairman's opening remarks. I have no opening remarks. Does anyone from the public wish to speak? Anyone want to address the board from the public? Seeing none, we'll move on to reports. Ms. Dixon, I'll hand this over to you then.
All right, first up, we'll have our property manager, I'm sorry, maybe not. We will have our property, forgive me, my housing choice voucher manager, program manager, Marisol Miranda. The introductions are always the hardest part.
Hello. So I will start with our voucher count. We have 211 regular vouchers. We have 3 home ownership vouchers. Our utilization is at 57% and going up. Our monthly cap received was $172,576. What we spent in the month of September was $164,777. And then I'll go through the wait list. The total applicants as of 9:30, as you know, we opened our wait list in August. And we have a total of right now 493. We have 24 moving to final eligibility. We did issue 2 vouchers last month, and 1 expired, and we withdrew 9. Overall program activities, we have 1 new admission. We have 16 vouchers searching, 1 complete transfer, 7 EOPs, end of participations, and then we have down from 200 and something, we are down to only 4 PIC late inspections, and that will be at 0 next month. And my PIC reporting rate is at 100%.
And I have to add, the 4 late inspections are not really late. They just need to get in the system properly.
Correct.
But other than that, they're doing really well.
And that is it for my report.
Thank you.
And now we will have our property manager, Desiree Renavales.
Good afternoon. What I will be reading is the report for September 2025. For our wait list for public housing, we are currently at 1,868. With that being said, we have 57 for final eligibility. Home ownership is 159. Business activity, we are at 254. With business activity, I am currently sending out letters for scheduled appointments to get that program moving forward. Developments will move forward. For Lakeland, we are at 84%. Majority of our vacancies are live units. We had 2 admissions, 1 pending eviction. Boulevard Gardens, we had at 80%. With 1 new admission, 1 ended participation. Harborside Homes, we are at 67%. We had Harborside Duplexes, we are at 33%. Scattered Sites, we are at 67%. Business Activities, we are at 58%. Work orders, we received reporting this month 62, we closed out 28 with total outstanding 461. The closing quick report was at 100%.
Very good.
I do have a question. Just for my knowledge here, if we look at the waiting list, is that a heavy time constraint of taking people off of the waiting list, getting them into a final eligibility and moving them on so that we can fill the vacancies in the other areas? Is that what we have to wait on? It's a timely process?
Yes.
How long is that? It's the weeks, or do we measure it in weeks or months or days?
To be honest, it depends on if they show up for their scheduled appointments. It depends on if they show up for their scheduled appointments. If they've already exhausted the 2 that are scheduled, then we would have to keep going to see if they move forward.
Okay, and we allow them to have 1 missed appointment or 2 missed appointments? 2 missed appointments, and then you can move on to the next applicant, and that person or that applicant is removed
Correct.
from, okay, all right, very good, thank you.
The clients, the applicants get 2 appointment letters, and then the 3rd letter is a withdrawal. And so if they would get the withdrawal, they still have an opportunity to still respond. They respond within 10 days of receiving it, and if there's a reason why maybe they missed the appointment, so and all, they actually have 3 opportunities if there was something prohibiting them from responding to the first 2.
Okay,
And then for the waiting list, just to give you an example, we inherited 2 waiting lists for the public housing and for the HCV program. Those waiting lists were old. They had been,
Right.
those applications had been taken years ago. And so what happens is when you're going through, people aren't interested anymore, they moved on and so forth, so you don't have a fresh waiting list. So when we pull for public housing, Shauna is pulling maybe 30 people at a time, and she may get 2 people to respond. And so what we're doing is we're increasing the amount of people, we're doubling and tripling up on appointments because people aren't coming in to get through the list. We did that with the HCV program, and we were moving slow as well. And then, just for an example, we took applications in August for the HCV program, and when we pulled 25 people to come in the month of September, and 23 came in.
oh, okay.
So it shows you the difference when you have a fresh waiting
Yeah.
list of people who are interested now as opposed to, the waiting list being years and years old. So we're having a lot more response when the waiting list is newer. My goal is, first of all, we have to get through the people that are on this waiting list just as we did for the voucher program. But my goal is once we take applications, that we don't take thousands at a time, and hopefully we can have a situation where we open the waiting list once a year or once every other year or so. The more you open it, it keeps the waiting list fresh. So we may not take as many people, but we will open the waiting list more often.
And can we pull in more applicants or more appointments than we have room for?
Oh, yes, that's exactly what we're doing.
Okay.
So she's, I don't know if you're at this point now where you're tripling up on appointments, but she's so she may send out 75 letters, and then we'll see who comes in.
Okay.
So, yeah,
But to work through 1,800, that's quite a list.
I think when we started, it was about 2,500 or so. I can't remember the exact number, but we've been slowly working through them. We actually had more response for public housing. It's been slowing down over the last few months. HCV was the one originally we were just not getting a response from. But again, it made a big difference when we had that new waiting list. But we still have to get through this one. But as you pointed out, we definitely we send more than what we need. Again, doubling and tripling up on appointments just to be able to get through it, because we have to give everyone that they have to go through that process. We send them a letter, they don't show up, they get a second letter. When they don't show up to the second letter, then they get a withdrawal letter.
Okay, all right. Thank you for clearing that up.
Now we have Tammy Cook.
Tammy's ready to go.
I was trying to get it right in my head. I was trying to make sure. We have Tammy Cook, who is our finance manager.
Oh, good afternoon. Okay, for the housing choice voucher, well, summary of the finance related, we're still improving rent collections, we're making progress. Little
Baby
by little.
steps. Baby steps.
Oh, gosh. And as you heard, we're trying to decrease the public housing monthly vacancies and improve voucher reset rates. Meeting capital fund obligations and expenditure timelines. And I'm also doing a recurring month-end closing meeting with the fee accountant. Housing choice voucher. So in August, and I'm talking about August finances.
Can I interject just for
Yeah,
a second?
sure.
So for finance, we're always kind of another month behind. So we're not always, exact. So that's why she's doing August. I just want to.
So in August, we had HAP funding that we received was $181,846. The housing assistance payments that were made back in August is $167,619. HCB operation reserves for August was $539,967. Administrative fees earned, and I apologize, I forgot to change it from July to August, 15,001, and administrative fees earned for portability is $91. The voucher management system was submitted timely and on schedule. Business activity had a negative net income for August, and the reserves do remain in a very favorable position. Public housing, net operating expenses outpaced operating income with continued effort to reduce aging tenant accounts receivable balances. We, with the wonderful help of Desiree, were able to get 8 to 9 repayment agreements from tenants. So, again,
Very good.
doing a great job. And the capital funds project is almost complete, I'm hoping. And that's it. Any questions?
Thank you, Tammy.
Well, it's my turn. To kind of piggyback off, going to my report with piggybacking off Tammy and Desiree's report, we have been working on rent collection. Part of that rent collection is not just evicting families, but working out payment agreements anywhere possible. But we are really enforcing rent collections, and that's been a bit of a struggle with us. As you all are familiar with the story, first of all, we had to reconcile to make sure that we were charging the correct amounts and so forth. So we did that earlier part of 2025, I want to say in March. Families began getting statements. We began then working on enforcing the rent payments, rent collections. And again, Desiree is doing a really good job with repayment agreements. We are also working on lease enforcement. There had not been a lot of enforcement regarding the lease or rent collections prior to that. So we've been working on violations, which also will include up to evictions for any non-compliance. We gotta have the rent to collect, and we need to make sure that we are enforcing the lease so that we have a viable place there for the families who live here and families that we are marketing to rent. Going back with that. Also too, it's the end of our fiscal year, so Tammy is working with our fee accountant with all of our financial end of the year closings, beginning for the remainder of this month into the end of November, I will be working on CMAP. CMAP is the Section 8 Management Assessment Program, and so that's where basically we do a little report card to assess how well the HCD program is doing. So that's kind of what will be keeping us busy until the end of November and possibly December. As you all are aware, HUD came in, I want to say in March of 2024, and there was a monitoring review that was completed, and we got the 54 findings. And so I have received notice from HUD that 15 of those findings have been closed. So I'm pretty excited about that. We have another 8 that are in process or close to being closed. That still leaves us 31 remaining findings. However, when I'm able to get the administrative plan and the ACOP completed, it will take care of a lot of those remaining findings. So again, baby steps. It has been a labor of love. But we're continuing through the process. Part of some of those findings are making sure that the recertification process went thoroughly, that we're giving clients the adequate forms that they need, making sure that the staff is trained. Very happy to say that we have a staff that is trained in their area of employment. We're working to continue to make sure that we're up to date on any changes and trainings that we need. Myself, Vice Chair Reyna and Commissioner Greer attended the NARO conference at the end of September. That was pretty informative. I was really happy to be back on the conference front. I used to participate in the Housing Committee and another scholarship committee, so it was exciting to be back with colleagues sharing ideas. It's kind of being good to be out of the weeds, if you will. I've been down for a while, so good to be able to hobnob with other executive directors on what they're doing in their agency. Also, too, we have an HCD landlord briefing that is scheduled for October 23rd. You all have a flyer in front of you about that lunch and learn. This is also part of our education with our landlords. It's not a HUD requirement for our findings, but it goes along with us making sure that we are informing and letting everyone know what the requirements of the program. We're reaching out, attempting to recruit landlords, making sure that the landlords that we have are well informed, and also recruiting new landlords. We will also have a event at Lakeland on the 25th, and I'm sorry that I don't have the flyer. Shauna, can you tell me what group that is? That is sponsoring the, you can come up. What is the group that is sponsoring? And we can get you a flyer before we leave.
It's the 25 Black Women Michigan City.
Okay.
And they're hosting a Halloween event, pumpkin payment with the families out of Lakeland.
So we can get you that flyer before, if you can get that flyer for the commissioners, I'd appreciate it. If you all would like to attend. One of the things that when I came here, I wanted to make sure that not only we meet the requirements HUD has given us, but we want to just have an all-around, touch a little bit of everything that we need. We wanted to make sure that we do enough community outreach for the residents and bringing them activities, and so that is part of the pumpkin, the pumpkin painting, is to make sure that we're well-rounded in all of our activities. Let's see what else we have. Fiscal year end. Oh, also too, we're so excited. HUD does annual inspections for housing authorities, and we will be having ours at the end of this month. So we have maintenance prepping and preparing for those inspections, and doing a lot of praying over here. So that's moving forward. We've also purchased new mailboxes for our buildings. We have 4 buildings on each side, and they have walk-up mailboxes in each building, so we have purchased that. We will begin installing those mailboxes towards the end of the month. We're working on the quotes for deadbolts. We know we've had some tenants, mention, I'm not sure why, but there were not deadbolts in our Lakeland or in Boulevard Gardens, and so we're working on process of getting those. Hopefully we can get those purchased and installed. And I think that's, last thing that I have for commissioners is There is a FADA, Public Housing Authority Director Association. They have an annual commissioners conference in January. This year it's going to be in Tampa. So you have at your desk a little bit about that conference. And maybe Chairman Benson may want to speak a little bit about that. He went last year. But it's usually pretty productive and good information for commissioners. And because it is the commissioners conference, you'll have commissioners from all over the country that you could share ideas and concerns and thoughts with. So I have that there. If you're interested in participating, just let me know and we'll get you set up. And I think that's all that I have. Any questions about any of that? All right, now the attorney.
In terms of reporting from our end, I think the only, we've been working on some policies. A couple were approved at the last meeting and there's another one on there for today. And the other thing is that I need to get with Ms. Ray Navapes. I recommend when I see her that we need to get some notices going so that we can get evictions moving again. I think that's the next order of business from our end. So other than that, I don't have anything active, I don't think, to report on at this point. Thanks.
Not to make you feel unsafe in any way, but we've already discussed not letting you leave here today.
That's fair.
We have a few questions.
That's fine. Well, then next month I'll have more things to report on. Yeah.
Yeah, how
Just
many
teasing.
evictions do you have on the docket? Or
What-
none on the docket
There's
yet?
none on the docket. I know that there's some in the pipeline, so we need to send a 30-day notice out on, and then we can get them going.
Okay.
So I will make that a priority in the next couple of days.
Several or a couple?
That you would have to ask the
Several.
manager, I'm not sure.
Several?
Yeah.
Okay.
And there were a few that we sent out and we did 30-day notices for that just vacated.
Well,
So,
that's good.
Oh,
all right. The next item that, oh, sorry, am I going
yep.
into?
Well, we're done
I'm
with
sorry.
reports then, and we'll move on to new business. New business, we have a resolution on the 4th, 2025-23. It's authorization to approve disposition policy. Ms. Dixon, can you walk us through that?
Absolutely. So to go along with our HUD monitoring review, and part of our findings was that the Housing Authority did not have a disposition policy, a policy that details how we dispose of property depending on what the value of that property is. Does my attorney have any items, any input on that, or did anyone have any specific questions? I don't know if you had a chance to review the disposition policy.
Sure. So HUD has some very strict guidelines, I think, when it comes to disposing or demolishing real property. So if you have a building or a house or something that you want to get rid of, there's a whole process you have to go through for that. I think the HUD regulations are a lot less clear when it comes to things like a van or a copy machine or a lawnmower, something like that that's beyond the age where it's really useful and you want to replace it. So in the absence of, I think, anything really conclusive in the federal regulations, I look at state law, and state law has specific ways that a government entity can dispose of what they call surplus property. So it's basically intended to cover anything that's not real estate. And so that's what this policy does. It just sets some guidance based on the value of the things being disposed of, whether it's in a group or a single item, and then also kind of the condition of it, which affects the value as to whether or not it has any use at all, or whether the value is so low that it's not even worth it to take it somewhere to try to sell it. There's varying ways of disposing of things. So the lowest value, you can just throw stuff away, essentially. The highest valued things, you need to either notice up that they're offered for sale and take bids, or you can hire an auctioneer. And in the middle, there's kind of just you can solicit quotes. It's kind of like purchasing, just the more expensive it is, the more formal you need to be. So all that's set out in the policy, and this way we'll have something in writing. I think it was a suggestion of something in an audit or something, right? that-
Right, it was part of the, it was
Yeah.
part of the monitoring review.
Yeah.
It was
So-
part of the monitoring review. When I reached out to some housing authorities, they were actually had just a blurb in their procurement policy, but HUD did state that we needed to have an actual policy, and so that's where this comes from, to mark off one of these closed items on our findings. Any questions about that?
Did read something about disposal. I just want to make sure that our maintenance team, they're not breaking things down that would be dangerous for them. For example, air conditioning or condensing units on refrigerators or something like that. They're not
No, we
taking
still have to
things apart. They're disposing of.
Correct.
Okay.
The term disposition or dispose in the legal sense is more to do with actually just getting it out of your possession. So like, if you were to sell something, HUD would call that a disposition of property. So when you say you're disposing of it, you're really just getting it away from you.
Or taking it to a scrap company.
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah,
Correct.
yeah. Whatever you're doing to get it out of your possession, but that doesn't mean that. No,
Well, they-
it doesn't mean you're smashing it up.
Okay.
Right.
Very good.
They still need to dispose of the air conditioning properly, whatever they're disposing of, so it's going to be.
Okay. Very good.
Maintenance guys I know might like to be smashing stuff.
You just scared me a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah, but no, I think, yeah.
Okay, any other questions on the resolution? Can I get a motion? Okay, can we get roll call?
Chairman Benson,
Aye.
Vice Chair Rayner,
Aye.
Commissioner Walls, Commissioner Fly.
Resolution 2025-23 is approved. Resolution 2025-24, authorization to approve change order for business activity vacancy reduction.
So when it comes to this, I almost feel like a broken record. We've been going through this for a few months now. As you know, we've had a moderate rehab going on for 33 of our public housing sites, and I want to say about 10 of our business activity sites. So Boulevard Gardens is completed, Lakeland is pretty much completed, and what the contractors have been working on as of now is business activity units as well as our scattered site units. And so what I have before you now is a change order for the business activity sites. As you all are aware, our sites were in pretty much disrepair. They have been vacant for years. We have some units that have been vacant for numerous years. We have homes and duplexes that were filled to capacity with items. When the ICE or independent cost estimate was done, there were a lot of things that just couldn't be estimated, and so there was a lot for contingency. And so I come before you today asking for contingency above the contract amount for business activity in the amount of $207,000 and $21.17. That was the above cost. In your packet is also a description of what the invoices and the breakdown of those costs. When you look at the invoice, don't get alarmed, because what happens is the grand total that you see is everything. It's the contract included. So your resolution has it broke down to how much I'm asking above what was already contracted. So for business activities, it is that $207,000 and some change. Our units, again, were in situations, so some of them needed roof repair, they needed windows, they needed furnace repair. We had units that had been, again, sitting vacant, and they had water damage due to pipes freezing in the winter. There's just a plethora of things that were wrong in the units. And again, the backup for those, what needed to be done, is listed here. Any questions or concerns? My goal is that this would be the last type
They're
of
close
change.
to buttoning these up then?
Yes,
or
so-
hand them over?
So up until now, I've not brought anything before you for business activities outside of the original contract. So in the previous change orders were for Boulevard Gardens, which we've been done with now for some time, and for Lakeland. And so now we moved on to business activity as well as the scatter sites. There may be a few, when we get to the public housing resolution, there may be a couple of items that were for Lakeland because they were last minute additions to the contract. But overall, that's what we have before you. And again, you have a pretty detailed backup as to what the charges are. Again, don't be concerned about the prices on the invoice because that includes the original cost. But what is an additional is the amount that is on the resolution. Any questions, concerns? And I don't know if you want to discuss both of them at one time, or can I go into the second one? They're pretty similar, or just wait?
I mean, you can discuss them. You've got to have a
Vote-
separate
vote.
line item
Yes,
for each
yes.
separate vote, but yeah.
So for the other change order for public housing, pretty much the same thing. It is $91,344. And again, those are above what was, those were the extenuating circumstances or contingencies for those contracts. And again, the backup is before you on what that amount is for. There were some that water lines had to be replaced. Quite a bit. Any specific questions or concerns on the resolution number 2025-24?
Can I get a motion on the resolution
Someone's,
and a roll call?
Chairman Vincent,
Aye.
Vice Chair Reyna, Commissioner Rawls, Commissioner Fly.
Resolution 2025-24 is approved. Resolution 2025-25. Any further questions on the explanation? Can we get a motion?
So moved.
And on the roll?
Chairman Vincent,
Aye.
Vice Chair Reyna, Commissioner Rawls, Commissioner Fly.
Move on to old business. Any old business? Time for commissioners' remarks. Do commissioners have anything they'd like to bring up?
Yeah, I'd like this to say, last month I had a doctor's appointment, so I in box chairman. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, thank you. Hope you're feeling well.
Thank you.
Happy to see you, Commissioner Rawls.
Yeah, welcome back. Yeah. Can we get a motion to adjourn? All in favor? Aye. Meeting's adjourned.